everyone. So today I am talking to Sinead Whelan. She is with the British Chamber of Commerce based in Abu Dhabi, and I met Sinead years ago now when I was a committee member for the British Business Group in Abu Dhabi. But just recently the British Business Group has evolved into the British Chamber of Commerce. So Sinead is going to tell us a little bit about it. So what is the British Chamber of Commerce and why should people get involved with it?
Thanks, Jenny. So lovely to sit down with you again and reconnect. As you said, we've known each other for a long time. When I first joined, you were, I think, a committee member and then obviously went on to become deputy chair of what was the BBG Abu Dhabi, and we always work closely on our events and I've always valued our relationship. So it's great to come full circle and have you back in the office today.
Yeah, it's lovely to be back actually, lots of memories.
Yeah, and equally full circle, as I say, coming back now to our transition and to what we've evolved into, which I think is something that probably even from your time in the committee we talked about a lot, about the BBG and what was our purpose and what we were doing, but equally how we could improve it, how we could evolve of course. And I'm delighted to say that we're coming now towards the end of year one as the British Chamber of Commerce Abu Dhabi, and that we've successfully transitioned from what was the BBG. So BBG Abu Dhabi, just to start with, was essentially a not-for-profit individuals networking organisation that existed in Abu Dhabi for 25 years. It was formed in 1996, originally as a Monday club, which saw some British businessmen specifically meet regularly and discuss how they could promote and share business opportunities and support the Department for International Trade at the British Embassy. It essentially formalised, they formed a constitution, and they invited obviously business women to be involved as well, and then over 25 years that grew into a really successful networking organisation, which had, I suppose, a good amount of a socialising element to it. And to be honest, it was during COVID when, like everyone else, all other businesses, we suddenly were working from home. We had to down tools in terms of what was our bread and butter, which was organising face-to-face networking events. Suddenly everything was webinars and virtual, and that was fine, but it gave us scope to, I think, step back and carry out a strategic review of our value proposition as British Business Group Abu Dhabi and say, okay, what more can we be doing? And now we have some time on our side to plot and plan, because no one knew how long the pandemic was going to go on for. So we engaged a consultant, we engaged our membership, we carried out an awful lot of research, and essentially we came up with a proposal to transition what was BBG Abu Dhabi into British Chamber of Commerce Abu Dhabi by way of joining the international global business network of the British Chambers of Commerce UK. So what that's meant, Jenny, is that we've gone from being, I suppose, operating as a silo, that was the BBG, to now coming underneath the umbrella of the global business network of the BCC. We're now part of a much more international organisation. We have the supports and the tie-ins and the connectivity to 130 British chambers all over the world. There are, I want to say, 73 UK-based and 53 internationally accredited British chambers, of which we are one. So our focus has changed a little now as well. We've gone from being, I suppose, an organisation that represented British individuals who were doing business in Abu Dhabi to now having a bilateral focus. So we also welcome membership and represent interests for UAE companies that have interest in doing business back in the UK, as well as British companies through the BCC network that are interested in doing business here. So there's the bilateral piece, but it's also now multilateral, because there are British chambers around the world, obviously across Europe, across the Middle East, Africa, etc. So it's really exciting. As I say, we're at the end, coming towards the end, final quarter now of year one. We always said it would be an evolution, not a revolution, and it's very much a transition. We haven't achieved everything we've set out to just yet. We've had a hugely successful first year.
So really the purpose of the transition is to ensure that you stay relevant to your membership, but also add more value to them. So one of those changes was, previously it was only memberships for individuals, but now companies can join.
Absolutely correct, Jenny, yes.
And so has that been a big take-up for companies?
It's a good question, because we, absolutely to say, we historically were an individuals networking organisation, and essentially if you left a company or moved on from a role, your membership went with you. So now we have a completely different structure. We're very much corporate focused. It is the company that joins. Arguably that is something that was possibly long overdue. In recent years there's been a lot of individuals sort of saying, look, I want to join as a company, and under the BBG's constitution that wasn't what we stood for. So this transition was warranted, as I say. The way we cut the cloth, I suppose, of the membership was through analysing other British Chamber structures, but then we had to colloquialise it so that it worked for this local market. So what we did was we came up with 3 levels of membership and then 3 levels of partnership. Membership, we say it's as easy as ABC, so associate, business and corporate. Associate essentially still retains a feel of an individual membership. It's for freelancers and consultants, and it's very cost effective. Business is your SME level, so it's where a lot of our smaller businesses, I suppose.
This is where Gateway fits in.
This is where Gateway fits in at business level. And then we have corporate, which is your multinational level, your bigger company level. Still extremely cost effective. We're very conscious that we wanted and needed to take with us our long-standing BBG members. We were never going to throw the baby out with the bathwater. As you said, we needed to make sure that we were very, I suppose, engaged and supportive of our existing membership to take them with us on this journey. And having those 3 levels of membership, I think, did that because they appreciated that we weren't just suddenly saying there's been a fee hike and now you have to join, at the same level that, some of our larger members have joined at for, as you say, the smaller outfits. So we were very conscious of that. Equally, a lot of companies had huge appetite for partnering with us at different levels too, and they were very keen to join at, let's say, senior levels. So we have a foundation partnership level, and who sits there are BP, PwC, Shell and Abu Dhabi Ports Group, and we were delighted to welcome Abu Dhabi Ports Group as a UAE entity at that level. We have an annual partnership level. Oh no. Next level, then we have our annual partners, at which we have 5 annual partners. They receive various different benefits from our side and they support us in numerous different ways, have added access and connectivity to the chamber, and also various different branding opportunities and positions as well. Strategic level partnership then is where we partner with companies that maybe don't want to come on board at the highest level of partnership, but are keen to engage with us, keen to be associated with BCC AD, and what we commit to our strategic partners is their positioning as key event partners on 2 strategic events in the year. And then lastly, we have our event partnership, whereby a company wants to join with us and would like to partner as essentially an event sponsor throughout the year of their membership. Equally, a big change from BBG to BCC from a corporate membership benefit point of view is that whilst the corporate joins, there are different numbers of named members within that membership, and when those individuals transition or move on from roles, the corporate can essentially change that named representative. It makes a lot more sense. Also, our membership now no longer runs on a calendar year basis, but it moves on a 12-month basis. So essentially, if you join in March, your membership will expire the following March, hopefully renew, but it's not a case as before whereby you would join in January and it ran for a calendar year and we would pro-rata the rates during the year. So from, I suppose, a revenue model point of view as a chamber, it makes a lot more sense for us to have a rolling membership as well. So lots of different changes.
Much more savvy.
Much more savvy. Much more agile as well, I have to say. As a chamber, we now are governed instead of I suppose BBG, it was by a constitution that was written in the 90s, which served its purpose very well. We're now governed by articles of association and bylaws. From a governance point of view, we have a board of trustees, we have an agile board of directors, we meet quarterly, and then we have subcommittee meetings for finance, etc. in between. But it's a lot less, I'm going to say, onerous than what the structure was as BBG, where we had quite a large committee, which was essentially a mini representation of a body of members, and we met monthly. Equally, in our office, we now have an executive management team. We have a business development manager, as well as a general manager, as well as an admin assistant, whereas historically those roles might have been a little bit more admin focused. We also have massively improved our digitization. So from a point of view of, I suppose, membership facing, we now have they now have access to BCC AD via an app, and they can make payments for events, they can network with other members virtually through the membership directory, etc. We also have an internal membership community, which is almost an internal social media wall whereby members can communicate directly to each other through that app. All of these improvements were part of the transition to how we now act like a chamber as opposed to what the BBG was.
From a member's perspective, the payment system, that's so much easier to use now and saves so much time.
100%, and I think, look, for any small business, obviously it's an investment that you have to take. We've just been having a conversation offline about the importance of digital marketing, absolutely investing in your, I suppose, your footprint from a point of view of digitization, making the customer experience, whether they're a customer of a membership organization or a professional services agency or anything else, you need to make sure that your customer's journey is as easy as possible, and that's something we've definitely improved this year, and I'm really proud of that we've achieved that.
Yeah, well done. So in terms of your members, have you found that being part of the larger British Chamber has been beneficial? Are you finding that in attracting members, they like to be part of the bigger group? And also in terms of having connections with Abu Dhabi government departments, etc., it's easier to get those inroads because you are part of the bigger group?
Absolutely. I think you've hit the nail on the head, Jenny. People know what the British Chambers of Commerce are. They didn't necessarily know what the British Business Group Abu Dhabi was. A fundamental part of our not only rebrand was to also convey the benefits of what we have now to offer as part of the British Chambers of Commerce Global Business Network. Everything we do is with the aim of supporting better business outcomes for our members, and I suppose our objectives are to do that through offering support, through offering some information, and through offering connectivity. A huge part of that is working with our local stakeholders. So very much we've retained the relationships we always had with UAE entities as BBG, but we are working with them in a lot more of a strategic way now. We actually tomorrow morning are holding a members breakfast for our BCC AD members, but we've actually collaborated with ADRO, which is Abu Dhabi Residence Office, tomorrow morning, and they're coming along to do a presentation to members, and we're actually signing an MOU with them tomorrow as a sign of our collaborative commitment to furthering each other's missions. They obviously are one of the UAE bodies under the DED for Abu Dhabi to support individuals, residents of Abu Dhabi, and what we're doing is giving them a platform to engage with the British business community of Abu Dhabi through attending our event tomorrow, to hear from residents about what it is, where they need support, either as individuals or as professionals, what are potentially the barriers to trade, and what's happening in terms of the changes to the UAE local laws, such as the visa requirements, etc., which obviously Gateway now can share with everyone as well. Also, what is the application process for obtaining a UAE golden visa, etc. Other entities that we work with closely include ADIO, so Abu Dhabi Investment Office. And we've actually seen, I suppose, back to your original question in terms of the change of our membership, we've always had a solid membership representation that's cross-sectoral, and I suppose key would be representatives from the energy sector, from healthcare, from education, from defence and security,
construction and engineering,
hospitality and professional services. Whereas we're now seeing a change, I suppose, in the level of interest from different sectors, as you say, from the Global Business Network, from the British Chamber of Commerce, who are based overseas, back in the UK, but also globally. And what we're seeing is that the interest from a diversified sector base is in line with where the UAE are looking at in terms of their focus for diversifying the UAE sector. So that's really, really interesting. We had a meeting with Kezad last week, and they were letting us know that they're seeing a huge level of interest in terms of company entrance from sectors like agri-tech and fintech and yes, healthcare, but much more, I suppose, in also life sciences and pharma and things like that. And they're industries that we're seeing inquiries from now. And yeah, as being part of the British Chambers of Commerce, it's really important to us that yes, we look after UK to UAE bilateral interests, but that we're also supporting the UAE's interests and their mission and their objectives. And we're really proud to be working towards supporting those sectors too.
And it makes sense that you're getting interest from companies in line with the UAE strategy, because if they're not, then the business opportunities for them are going to be pretty restricted here as well. So if you are speaking to digital-based companies or industrial-based companies, which I know the UAE has keen interest in developing to be self-sustaining moving forward, then there are going to be a lot more opportunities there. So as the British Chambers of Commerce in Abu Dhabi, what do you feel are the biggest benefits for somebody to join your organisation as a member?
We are a signposting agency, and we serve to promote bilateral trade between the UK and the UAE, fundamentally by offering support, access, connectivity and information to our members. If you are a company that is overseas and you're interested in doing business in Abu Dhabi, and you need entry point advice in terms of company formation and setup, in terms of legalities, in terms of real estate, in terms of office space, or in terms of understanding the regulations and the laws here, we have stakeholders on the ground as part of our network with whom we can very easily put you in touch with. That's a benefit ultimately of being part of our network, but it's something that we're open to having an initial conversation with as well. We work really closely with stakeholders such as the Department for International Trade at the British Embassy. We also work with other, I suppose, UK UAE stakeholders such as the UUBC, which is the UK UAE Business Council. We work closely with other entities such as the Energy Industries Council, the EIC, and we also work locally with other non-UK focused but other chambers, so Abu Dhabi Chamber of Commerce or AmCham, which is the American chamber, and then other business groups for various different Commonwealth and wider business communities too. So we are essentially here to serve and to promote, and then obviously through our various, as mentioned, I suppose tier-based membership categories, essentially the higher the level of membership access and benefits and branding and access to speaking at events and things like that you would like to have, the higher the level of membership tiers. So that's essentially how our structure for membership works, and it's been really successful in year one.
From my perspective, having been a member, I joined what was the British Business Group back in, I think, about 2012 when I very first came into Abu Dhabi from Dubai. And the main benefit, I think, for me was I didn't know anybody here. And so I found attending the networking events really, really beneficial. And during my time as a committee member, sometimes you'd hear people say, but I'm not generating business. But I think what people don't always take into consideration is actually the values of the relationships and people that they're meeting in It might not necessarily generate you a specific contract, but it's potentially helping you in so many other ways. You have building up a network of people that you can call when you need something, or equally you might be able to help them. And I now find that even sort of 10 years on, I will still get calls from people that I met in the very early days who remember me, remember what I do, and their situation has changed and there is an opportunity for us to now work together. So my recommendation would be, don't dismiss things because you think you aren't getting business. It's all about building the relationship and nurturing those relationships, because things flourish in all sorts of ways and you never know what's going to happen or be around the corner. And also Abu Dhabi is a very transient marketplace as well, so there's new people coming in all the time, so you need to keep the networking up to make sure you know everybody in town.
I couldn't have said it better, Jenny. I think one of our slogans that we do say is, to an extent you can say we're like a gym, that you'll get out of us what you put in. We have had examples like that where a member will join at the start of the year and then we won't see them again until the end of the year, and that's really not what we're about. We encourage attending, networking, building relationships. We provide the platform. We'll put the potential customers or support system for your business in a room, and we'll give you digital platforms on which to connect with them, etc. But at the end of the day, it's a members organisation, and it really is up to each member to put in the networking time to build those connections. As you say, Abu Dhabi is a transient place. It's also a small place. And once you're part of our, I suppose, referred business network, once you're endorsed by the British Chamber of Commerce Abu Dhabi to do business with people, over time, I think, is when you do see the rewards to be reaped. As you say, it's not necessarily you attend one event, you come away with a sale. Return on investment with the membership organisation doesn't work like that. I wish it did. But we do
but
have...
that's not to say that it doesn't happen, because it does.
It absolutely
well.
does. Yeah.
But like you're getting at there, sorry to interrupt you, it is what you put into it.
100%. And equally, I suppose, to that point, we will often run sector-focused events. So often it literally is a room with quite targeted, vendors and suppliers and customers, all from within the education sector, or maybe it's from within healthcare or what have you. And those sales actually do, leads and sales are generated through literally one BCC AD engagement. And we do hear those case studies, and we do hear that feedback, and we often feature business success stories in our Capital Letter magazine, which we produce 3 times annually, and has quite a wide reach across the business community in Abu Dhabi.
So I hope that by watching this video you've learned what the British Chamber of Commerce in Abu Dhabi is all about, what benefits it can provide to you both as an entrepreneur, an SME, or a larger multinational. And ultimately, if you are intending to do business in the UAE, it is very much who you know as well as what you know. So networking is absolutely critical. And I strongly encourage you to join the Chamber of Commerce or a business group here and start building up your network connections. Thank you so much to Sinead here for sharing all the information and the transformation. It's been really useful, really helpful, and obviously always lovely to catch up with you as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jenny. Thank you.
Since recording this video, Sinead has given birth to her beautiful baby girl, Diran, so we send our heartfelt congratulations to her. And we welcome the BCC's new General Manager, Simone Yucca. If you would like to know more about the British Chamber of Commerce in Abu Dhabi and are interested to become a member, here's how you can connect with them. Visit their website, call their office, send them an email, and be sure to follow their social media accounts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn. Thanks for watching.